sajam cha varti sanyuktam grahina yojitam mayam deepam grihana devesham trailokya timirapaham.
Om Jai Lakshmi Mata, Maya Jai Lakshmi Mata, Tumko nish din sevat, Maya ji ko nish din sevat, Mere Vishnu Vidhata. Om Jai Lakshmi Mata.
Let's all pray together. Om गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कवेतजम्बो फलचारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पारपङ्कजम् सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बिके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। Thinking of Lakshmi Mata, let's use some simple prayer. Jai Jai Shri Lakshmi Ki Jai Kripa Apar Dije Dhan Jan Janani Nij Lije Sharanam Jad. Prayers bolo Lakshmi Mata Ki Jai. Everybody please have a seat. And it shows how of all the Devis that we speak about, how Lakshmi Mata is considered one of the main ones. In that Rig Ved, if somebody goes to look, for example, for some of the devatas that we worship, you'd be surprised that there's no mention of Krishna, Ram, Shashti, or Dharti, or all these forms. Limited to a select few because of how old the Rig Ved is. As time is passing and Krishna came and then Krishna went, the Ved was before that. So historically, it has some of the forms that we have, but not all. Because one came before, meaning to say, we know normal Bhagavad Puran comes before Devi Bhagavad Puran. Shiv Puran comes before Bhagavad, before Devi Bhagavad. Devi Bhagavad tends to be one of the newer texts. But Lakshmi Mata, in terms of the traveling of time, she's there in Rig Ved. Tonight, as our Sumiran, let us just chant 2 verses, asking Mother for her grace before we go into our discourse. Put your hands together. And my advice, we are going to say simple prayer, maybe from your heart. One of the verses says here, I take refuge at her feet. Who abides in the lotus by her grace, let Alakshmi, the form of evil, distress, poverty, let that form be destroyed. Sitting where you are, be honest with yourself. As a Hindu, what is Alakshmi? What is this Pandit talking about? Tonight, Mother, I invocate you as Lakshmi. That Lakshmi is the embodiment of good, of Shri, of the glory, the shining energy of things like the sun and the moon and so on. The joy that you see in different places, such as the smile of a child, the winning of a race, the winning of your cricket match, etc. The joy you get, the exhilaration when you pass the exam, that feeling, that joy is the joy that is caused by the goddess. May you please allow that type of sensation to come into my life. Say your prayers. Hari Om Chandra Prabhasam Yashayas Jwalamtim Shriyam Lok Deva Jushta Mudram Tam Parminim Sharanam Maham Prabhadyai Lakshmi Nashatam Tvam Varne Aditya Varne Tapasyo Adi Jata Vanaspatitstava Vriksho Ata Bhilva tasya palani tasya tapasya nudantu maya tadayascha bhayam alakshmi. Mother, by your prayer, a huge bale tree was created. Just like how that tree is created and it bears fruit, allow my life to be full of your grace and let it bear fruit. And when there are moments of delusion, confusion, and ignorance, the lady Alakshmi is the form of evil, distress, and poverty. Push that form out. We don't want that form. Upaitu mam deva sakha kirtisya manina saha pradhurbhuta asmin raksha asmin kirti mirdim dadatu me. Mother, when your presence comes near, may all the devatas and the prosperity start from inner to outwards in this life. Internally, bless me with health and happiness, hormonal balance, and everything that comes with that. And then externally, bless me with what locally we will say barakat, the jewels of this life. Allow it to come to me. And may after this life, may you grant me the opportunity to be born in your realm in Vaikunt, listening and watching and always be close to you. Adi Shakti Mata Ki Jai. Tonight, as we continue in our little discourse, we talked last night about referencing the necessity for our Gyan Yagna, quoting firstly from a conversation between Kakbhushund and Garud. Another place that shows this type of necessity is in Bhagavad, Srimad Bhagavad Puram Mahatyam. That discourse is usually found in Skand Puram, where it shows the value of this book. In that section, Narad Muni is traveling as usual and he sees a young girl and two old people struggling. Brother, could you help? Brother, could you help? I need some help to move them. And nobody is taking heed. Nobody is coming to help them. So Narad Muni descended from the sky, comes down, and he says, "Dear daughter, who are these two older men? Are they your father, grandfather?" She says, "No, these are my sons." So Narad thought, well, how could a young girl have two old fellas now, grey, withered, could barely walk? What type of jadoo magic is this? So he started to listen from her, and she described that, listen, I am the personification, I am the living form of bhakti. Because in this age of Kali Yuga, different things will happen to people. And when I'm outside of Vrindavan, where they were, at that point, they were in Vrindavan. When a person goes to Vrindavan, they get back the energy of bhakti. You start to, maybe when people walk there, they start to cry. When they're doing the tirat, something is happening. A renewing there. If it ever happened to you, have you ever gone to prayers and feel like, yes, man, I could pray, I could do this. I'm feeling like I could do it more. I like this feeling, I like this atmosphere. You see, Sunday coming, I'm going to do it again. For our practical approach, that is sometimes that bhakti could be rejuvenated based on the physical environment where you put yourself. Life sometimes have a way it is rob you of your feet. It is test your feet, hardship. In this lady case, the three of them had now reached Vrindavan and she gains back the youth, the strength, the vibrance. She says, I regain my composure because this place is so full of that energy. I was able to get back young. But my two sons, Gyan and Vairagya, in Kali Yuga, Gyan or the knowledge, Vairagya is the ability to say, when I was 19 years old, I was only working to get. I only did studies to get a job. Me and Pandit was talking about this morning. The idea that I want to have and I want to get, whatever you want to get. But this is my focus in my life. But then with wisdom, the person starts to not want so much. The person is able to hand it over. The person's ability, vairagya, is literally to say enough, put down. Or enough to pass it on, depending on what it is. But she says to Narad, in Kali Yuga, the person is not going to have the gyan. They are not going to, they will have devotion, they're clapping. What are you clapping for? I don't know what the song means. I don't know what is the praise. I don't know why I'm fasting. I don't know why I put a fig. But I'm doing it, my mother, what's in my heart, I'll do it because she'll quarrel with me. So I'm doing it like a good boy. My Baba just tell me do it, I'll listen. The problem with that again, and this is something for you and I to see. If somebody comes and say, all right, our flowers has sweetness in it, offer it, the sweet in it, how you give is so you get sweet. I give it to God, bless me with sweet times, healthy times, happy times. Suppose somebody told you now, put something that is of no relevance. Somebody wanted to trick you as they tricked Ravan in his prayers in Ramayana. Or somebody wanted to interfere with the outcome of your prayer. And you don't know why you put the flowers. Okay, well, auntie, the Naunia, the somebody, Maaji, say we could put this, we could put poison in the prayers, we could put whatever in the prayers. And you not knowing better would do it. Because now I listening. This is why Gyan becomes so important. That you do it, there's nothing wrong. Baba, what are we doing that for again? Baba, what are we doing that for? So for many people, when you hear about Sri Suktam, when, for example, I know it is offer bay leaf for Lord Shiva. It have rules with that bay leaf. If you read the Bilva Ashtakam, it tell you, you try and you offer perfect leaf. There's a line that says if you offer tattered leaves, the benefit, you get eye damage. So suppose now, read it, you see what I say, Google it. If I offer bad leaves and I'm seeing trouble, there's stipulation. Think what I'm telling you. If you do the prayer properly, I get the blessing. But suppose now, me with my shortcut self, do it halfway. Will you, in theory, get the same blessing? No. And this is the part sometimes we don't think about. You know, it have different children and different people in this world. Suppose I eat something fresh, unclean, and I want to go in the same moment, may wash my hand, and I want to go and touch my murti. Wouldn't it have, in theory, based on what we know, some karmic reaction to that? When you know the rules of what you're doing, you would do it properly. Other than that, people will do what they feel, and that constitutes tamasic prayer. With the knowledge, the person is able to grow. What you pray, how you pray, what you ask for when you're 19, now starting life, now adult life. At 60 years old, I'm not supposed to pray the same way. I'm not supposed to be running behind the same things as somebody now getting mortgage, now getting married, now going down that road. Vairagya teaches you, okay, you're back, able to lift heavy things. Have that knowledge not to do it. What good for your body, what not good for your body. Good habits, not good habits. So then she says the only thing that could help a person in this life, in this time, is the knowledge. And when you give the person the knowledge, they will be in turn able to make proper decisions for themselves, and hence they would be able to groom vairagya. So as the person is using the time to accomplish all their goals. Other than that, time comes, time goes, and the person still feels, I did not attain my goals. I did not get what I wanted to get from a family, or my home, or my life, generally speaking. They feel as if they are robbed. Prem se bolo Lakshmi Mata ki jai. Tonight, as we get into our little discourse, the object or the purpose is to gain more and more insight so that it will guide through knowledge your steps in your home. Last night we spoke about where Lakshmi Mata lives. When Lord Vishnu says, as her consort, I tell her where to stay and where not to stay. So we talked about dust and all other things. We continue tonight. I'm in chapter 8. Saunak Rishi is asking Sutji in this section, Why is it did the devatas churn this water? On Diwali night, when you're coming up, you're going to hear Dhanvantri or Dhanteras. Then Diwali night is the night mother comes back. But in the first place, why did they churn the water? I understand that different things come out. I hear something about Rahu and Ketu. But Guruji, could you please tell me what was the original point of that activity? And he tells him it started with what we heard last night. When Indra takes the mala off and he discards it and he gets the shrap. And then they go and they talk to Lord Vishnu about all the different things that was happening. Lord Vishnu tells them that because of Indra's transgression on something as simple as a flower that was offered in prayer. This is why when we offer things in prayer or things are blessed, we try not to cross it. For children to understand, when sometimes you have your instrument, or even I remember when people, for the singers here, when you have your bhajan book, as they say, you don't desecrate that book. If a child is walking and walk over it, problem. Similarly with the ingredients or things in prayer. Could you imagine in some home somebody lays out their prasad, their havan samagri, and somebody wants to cross over it? Before the prayer, that respect is there, and after the prayer, the respect is there. And he says, because you disrespected a flower that was offered to me, this Lakshmi could not tolerate that insult, and she has now abandoned you. When she abandoned him last night, it just said she left, but it didn't say what was the result of her leaving. When Lakshmi leaves, people go hungry. When Lakshmi leaves a place, food becomes scarce. The person is starving. The family goes from a place of plenty to a place of near bare necessity. The person sees their salary not necessarily lose their job, but the money somehow becomes very squeezed or shishya. It is as if the money have a million places to go, but it is coming in limited amount. Because of this Brahman curse, the entire earth or anybody associated with you and your team, O Indra, they are going to be suffering. The environment will suffer because Lakshmi is not there. The role of Lakshmi in a place, in a village, in a family, in a home predicates now their happiness. If she is not there, they will not see fruition of prayer or any endeavor. They will have no favor. Prem se bolo Lakshmi Mata ki Jai. If when Pandit come home by you, I'm not sure of the availability of gobar in this part. I know people buy it on eBay. But do you remember when people used to lipe and they would have the little gauri on the baby? For children to understand, because it's a ticklish thing. Why am I touching that, Pandit? If you don't know the reason behind some of these things, you may not do it. It's not so important. Consider the content of it tonight. In a different discourse, we hear of Sri Ram left Suryo River, he attends back to heaven. This is just after Ram Gita is chanted. And as time passes, Mother Earth is coming now to tell Lord Vishnu, I need you to come back. This is before Krishna is on the earth. This is before Gita, Bhagavad, none of those things existed. So we know the cow comes. But as the cow is coming to go to Vaikuntha, Brahma says, Ma, we wish to worship. We want to see this moment when you are going to ask Lord Vishnu for him to come. Brahma jumps over this eyelid here. We say the eyebrow for our understanding. Lord Shiva jump in here. On the horn, the moon, the sun. And like that, the cow started to hold like a big boss. Devatas everywhere. The four Ved sits in the cow hoof. Yamraj sits in the cow tail. If you go to see a person who go down, me and you might offer it on the kush grass if it's winter time on the shaligram. But in Gaudan, you are offering the tarpan on the tail because of Yamraj sitting there. If somebody were to ask you, well, all respect to somebody who is eating fresh, there are so many interpretations of what is a Hindu or a Sanatanist. If somebody says, okay, well, I see you eat this, I see you eat that fresh, this animal, that animal, okay, but the Hindu cannot touch beef. As a child, somebody said, Ma, why we can't eat beef? What's the big fuss with beef? And God make everything? This is the answer. As the bus is passing, the cow is passing, all the devatas, everybody jumping in. Saraswati wants to go, Parvati wants to go, everybody's going. At this point, the bus full. In that moment, Brahma says, nobody will touch or harm, not even eat, but beat the cow. Because if the chicken, if the fish have a life, imagine 1 dialite content inside the animal. But the cow, for our understanding, 1,000 lives. Because of the content of the animal, the skin of the cow has a deuta. Depending on the person's prayer, when you read in different texts, it says, give a colored animal and dan, give a white cow, give a milking cow to get different benefit. When the person gives the cow, it is as if I'm given a whole temple of murtis and charity in dan. Please let that blessing be mine. This is the content of the cow, hence a Sanatanist does not touch or damage or harm a cattle, the female one. When they went further up, Lakshmi Mata appears and she says, oh devatas, I wish to see this moment too. Brahma, everybody say, well, mother, come. They check from the hoof, imagine every joint, looking for a space in every rib where it seals to the sternum. Not one space available. Everywhere something met, there was a devata. So mother says, okay, I'll go ahead. I will go next time. Don't worry about it. Brahma, using his sense, says, if you are not present with us, if you are missing, a person could apply for something, but favor is not going to be shown. Wherever you are, favor, fortune is possible. The person will win. But if you are missing, I might go and ask Lord Vishnu to come, but he is not necessarily going to listen. Mother, the only place I have is the waste in the intestine of this animal, the gobar, as we just call it. If you sit inside of this waste from today, whenever a person has to make a video or altar where a surface where I'm going to call devatas to sit, it has to be demarked or marked with your gobar, your gauri. If it does not have that, it is not fit for worship. Meaning, consider not a temple, but your home where fresh liquor, children making now. The place is not a tirat spot. This is a normal spot. And I want to go from unclean living to sattvic living. Ganesh Baba, come sit here. The person places the gobar to represent a pure spot in an impure place. So the person would, as we would say long time language, lipi. Somebody say, well, lipi ain't for. It does not say it has to be mud. So if it's wood, concrete, if it's tile surface, if it's a little bit, you put it and then you do your installation. Then puja continues. He says, Ma, wherever you are going to be located, people with bad mind, bad intentions, secondary motive, etc., they can't come close. Lost spirit, loose souls can't come close. If you go to a funeral and you see the person put gobar, whether on the floor or on a piece of cloth or foil, under, this is why they are protecting the integrity of this body that they are sanctifying for the fire. Go to a wedding. Have you ever seen how the Pujas put the little gobar, if they have it, on the kalash, the children name inside here. Mother, stand here. And in frank language, somebody else like this girl. In this world of psychopathic people, if I can't have you, nobody can have you. Prevent this child that getting married today from the onslaught of attack, from envy and jealousy like that. So somebody you love and care for you like a mother, just fix she and put you to literally guard from any type of attack. He says, Ma, wherever you are placed, people with, let me say, the thief, bandit, cannot come. There are many business places when you go to bless a store or so on, they put it in a suspended ceiling on the metal over a door. Ma, stand here. When you are finished, this is how, because of the content on the bedi, you just put a little piece and you do her worship. When it's finished, the prayer is finished, you take that, if it's an Inca amount, and you mop out your house. Ma, where you are, bad cannot come. So when somebody says, I clean out my house, or I clean my house spiritually, this is how we do it. This is why one day I was doing prayers in New York, and the people were living in Manhattan, concrete right around. So I asked the mother, if you have gober to put on the baby. She says, no, Babs, we have no cow here, So the little child listening to me and the mother talking, and the little child jump in and says, Babs, well, we don't have cow, but we have a puppy, we could use the puppy gober. If somebody says, okay, not the cow, could we use our parrot? Could we use a different source of gober? And the answer from most aunties and mummies would be no, only the heifer, not even the bull. And the reason is because Lakshmi is placed in that gober of that animal. It was sacred for that reason. So only if somebody says, well, where's the big fuss with cow? The Lakshmi content is there. Prem se bolo Lakshmi Mata ki jai. Then he tells them, if you want to get her back, then you will be able to do so. She has descended into the water, into the ocean. She has become, because when she left from Indra, she came down to the earth and she became the daughter based on his prayer. Varun Devta wanted a daughter like Lakshmi. But there's nobody like her, so she says, I will come myself. And she's dwelling now in the ocean. And if you want to have her, the first thing you will need is help to churn the water, get the mountain, Mandara, get, in this book it says, Sheshnag is the let me say, the rope, or in other texts they use Vasuki. And on one side of the tail of the tail of the animal, put Devtas. On the opposite side, put all the Dana. Make a deal with them, allowing them to gain in some way, and together churn the water, and different blessings will come, and one of it will be Lakshmi Mata. Prem se bolo Lakshmi Mata ki jai. They began to do the churning, and you know some of it. As the mountain started to go down because of the tooling, it wants to go downward, natural gravity. Lord Vishnu has to come underneath, and in the tortoise, in the kurma form, and the mountain rests on his back, scraping. You hear about that discourse when somebody offers dub grass in puja. Not the Ganesh part where he takes the dub grass because it has antacid property. He had swallowed this demon called Sindura and he was burning his stomach, and Parvati Mata is guided to put the dub grass on his forehead. Dub grass existed before that. Where does dub grass come from? When the mountain is skidding on the turtle's back like this. You know, sometimes the turtle have a little moss or something growing on it, and it dislodged the grass. It is considered to be the hair of Lord Vishnu. And when it was pushed off like that, this is why you see that species of grass growing on the seashore in different countries. That sandy type of soil, it hooked onto it and it started to grow. From that time, because of the origin, and there was a kata where a drop of the amrit that they went for dripped on the grass. You leave that grass to grow and it will spread. The other grass, not to be confused with this, is when it dripped, when Garud is fighting the snake cousins and them for the same amrit. Some fell on the kush grass and the snake licked the grass to get the amrit. And that is where the snake gets that cut tongue. They stuck out their tongue, and they lick kush grass. And when they lick it, the grass cut the tongue. And no matter what hardship this world goes through, what calamity, whatever drought, destruction. It seems as if the reign of the snake is never going to end. The woolly mammoth, different descriptions of animal become extinct. But snakes are not becoming extinct. In different parts of the world, they proliferate, they're growing. And this is one of the explanations according to Hinduism. When they had reached the Ekadashi day and the churning was in full sway, this is the part where now, in this text, it says the kalakut or the black poison. In other texts, you hear about the halal poison started to come from the mouth of Vasuki because they were pulling him so much. It activated the gland and the poison came out. In this is the part where Lord Shiva decides to drink the poison and Mother Parvati has to hold the poison here. Sometimes when we look at Lord Shiva home, we see him looking blue, but the truth is he has blue throat, not blue body. Mahadev Baba, Karapura Gauram, he is the one white like Karapura, camphor. His body is very white because they go to the cremation ground and they take the white ash and paste it on his body. But when he swallowed the poison, Mother Parvati wasn't happy about that. Why is my husband the servant to save this universe? So she puts her finger under the Adam's apple and she presses. The snake now, when they had finished churning, he comes and he says, Mother, it is because of my body Mahadev is in trouble. And you cannot remain here in one place stagnant. We need you to do your job. He says, let me sit. And because of the nature of the snake's body, meaning they have no bones, they use their muscle to crush prey. Tighten, relax, tighten, relax. Let my body sit here and squeeze the throat, allowing the poison to remain here but never go lower. If somebody asks you, why does Lord Shiva dress a snake around his neck? Then you remember this part. For practical reasons, to hold the poison right here, Mahadev adorns himself with the snake. In this moment, this is where now he has the Vasuki or the cobra, as we know him, sitting on the neck. In this way, he tells the goddess, when a person calls out to Govind, using pranav mantra Om, Om, or the first mantra, Om, and then the next mantra is maybe the name of the devata, Om, Panchakshar mantra, 5-syllable mantra, Namah Shivaya. That has confused people a little bit, but when you do a Panchakshar Stotra, Nagendra Hadaya, what's at the bottom? Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. In all mantras, you hear Om first, but Om is a separate mantra. So the person has to learn Om, and then the mantra begins. If the person calls Achyutaya, Anant, Govind, Govinda is the name given to Vishnu Baba as the person who gives an individual what they need and not necessarily what they want. I didn't ask for this poison in my mouth, dear goddess, but I will survive it. By His grace, He will take care of me. There should be no fear of poison or fire or death, so long as His grace and blessing is upon me. When they had finished, settled that poison thing, and the churning resumed, here now, Shlok 8, Alakshmi. Alakshmi is coming out of the water. The goddess, a goddess of that calls bad luck. If everybody understands, wow, that guy is so lucky, he win the lottery, he win the lotto, he get the master ticket, the child get the highest grade, whatever, lucky, then there has to be something as an opposite, and this is her. With a dark face, red eyes, rough, tangled, mangled hair, older body, sprang out from that water. And all the devatas turned to Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. Well, more Lord Shiva, because Lord Vishnu is in the water at this point. She is the eldest one. She is older. What should we do? Mahadev tells them she is the repository of misery. Goddess, she asks what should I do now that I am here? You've brought me here. What should I do? Please remember these things. Goddess, go and live in those homes that are riddled or filled with quarreling. Anywhere there is endless argument, you go and take root in that house. And from you, evil, misfortunes, endless problems will then further continue in a downward spiral. You will remain there causing misery because of a continuation of cruelty and false words. You remain right there. People who do not worship in the Sunday or the dusk, the dawn, you take hold. People who hold or keep harbor those things, such as the skulls, the bones, the ashes, the hair of deceased members or dead pets for today's children, you cause problems there. Somebody says in today's world, I wish I could hold on to my loved one. Hindu practice would be, that is unclean. But why, Pandit? Why is it a problem? This is the tenet that makes it a problem. The person that harbors these types of things is welcoming that type of energy into the house that will bring problems. In today's world, you are faced with decisions. It was done in Time magazine where people are deciding to do different type of funeral. And sometimes it stretches the Hindu mind now. Consider what I'm saying. There is a company in the States that you pay them. They pick up your dead. They stitch a crocus bag. So the dead now is in the bag. They put a tree in the bag. Stitch the bag. Dig a hole and bury. Usually in your yard or in your property, or cannot be public places. Time magazine decided to write up, an exposition on this new way of recycling carbon atom. Become now as the feed for this plant. It is done. The company is in Michigan. In that way, you see that oak tree outside, that's daddy. And you see that one over there, that's mommy. Logic kind of holding on to the deceased. So, in the article, the person ends that portion with, how do you feel about that? Open-ended question. Then he says, there's another way of disposing of the dead now. In Europe, in Netherlands, they developed a machine that takes the carbon in this type of funeral. You strip the person. It's happening in the States more and more for some reason. You strip the person naked. There's no fineries, the mala, the kurta, nothing. So you want pure body now, no box. They put them into the crematorium and they burn the body. The company requires of the total mass of ashes, maybe 10, 20 grams, which is small, but it's pure carbon. They take it, put it in their machine, like how you put a plate in a microwave, and the pressure and the temperature gets so high, you are making a fake diamond. So they take your deceased and they transform it. You see like how we could buy the fake gems, right? So, and you choose the color, yellow, pink, whatsoever. This one is mommy and this one is daddy. It does exist. Go home and check it. You'll see what I say. And the reason why I'm bringing it up, if you know your rules, because the questions, Mom, could I do this? Until you're in a funeral setting, you would not know it. In today's world, people, this is my pet. This is my loving pet. Could I keep my pet? In long ago, people used to stuff dead animals. And the question was, Pandit, is this authorized? Is this good to keep the same skin, hair, nails, teeth of this deceased in my home? And to guide the person, remember tonight I'm talking, but we're also talking to young Pandits too. As the technology is changing, the Hindu rules cannot flex because of our likes and dislikes. The truth is, in places where dead matter, dead carbon matter, not now, let's just say, this is my favorite kurta while I was alive, and my son say, I want to keep my daddy's kurta. This is different. This is different. This has no carbon structure as an organic matter. Dear lady, wherever these once alive, bone, ash, different things, those things where it is kept, you go and bring grief and poverty. Wherever people practice, for all the children that are sometimes sluggish, in Gita they say tamasic is the ruling nature of a person who is filled with lethargy, laziness. Saturday morning, Mom, I have to bathe. Yes, you have to get up and bathe. Why? God wouldn't like that. Mom, what are you talking about? In a place, in a home where people do not wash their feet, brush their teeth, the person does not practice proper hygiene, go and bring untold grief and dissension in that house. O elder one, wherever there is filth in a home, where there is a place that is not kept, not only the prayer room, home, you go and take up space like that. When someone enjoys eating in Diwali fasting, we don't only fast, you'll see this in the beginning part of Devi Bhagavad, when people have Devi Yagna. You are supposed to fast from mushroom. I don't know if you ever heard that. Because of the nature of it as a fungi growing on different things, eating its way in the carcass and different things, the nature of the animal, when Hindus are fasting, we don't eat certain things. Somebody asked me, I don't know your opinion or what you feel about this. You know, sometimes when we have Ganesh Utsav, hundreds of coconut now, people offer coconut when they're cracking it, bali, dan, giving the energy in the coconut. Could we go after and pick up all that coconut? I want to make some good coconut chutney. Why throw away this coconut? Mother, in a home where people make an offering or they gift the coconut to the devta, and they now want to eat the leftover or what is there after it is offered or cracked open, you go and live in a house like that. In the home where people take different type of garlic, onion, where people are preparing for prayer, and there's something called kadamba, fruit, people who eat different type of things that are rich, more or less what it's listed here is things that are rich in zinc. The problem with the onion in our text, somebody asked me this one day and I had to do some research. What is the problem with the onion, to be quite frank? The onion is a blessing to the male gender because it is the purest form of zinc. Zinc is the main ingredient in testosterone, the male sexual hormone. So the logic of taking away the onion is that you reduce the amount of testosterone so the man does not become lusty. The person is supposed to be a little calm, equilibrium. They are fasting for prayer. So for that reason, we abstain from it because it confused many Hindu. I've heard my doctor advising eat more garlic. Garlic is good. Onion is good. It is good, but not as for the person that is trying to be stable in their prayer. Wherever a person disrespects their parents, wherever a person is mean, hurtful, harmful to people that teach them, not only the pundit as guru, but imagine the dance teacher, the coach in the soccer match or the baseball match, and you use words that are hurtful or insultive, you go and take away the favor of such a person. If let me say the boy or the girl or the person thinks that I know better and this is why I'm speaking with this tone or this attitude to my parents, then let that person burn, not in their next life, in this life. Take away all their good favor, good luck. Allow them to be without it. Mother, may you go and wherever there is no offerings on behalf of pitras, where people take from parents, they take everything, and when life is no longer there, they don't bother to even say a prayer. Dear God, wherever the soul of my loved ones are, bless them. Wherever good people, old people are not honored, from today you go and you live there. Prem Bolo Shri Adi Shakti Mata Ki Jai. After this, they continued to turn and churn. Dhanteras, Dhanvantri, that form, of, let's say, the medical doctor, the guy who gives a person the inference how to fix a patient, sometimes without even doing testing, sensing what the person needs. Dhanvantari, he came. The fragrant flower parijat, which we talked about last night. And on the Dwadasi day, when the sun was in midday journey, midday time, Lakshmi Mata appears. And when she comes with these cool rays, here for the first time, they chanted Sri Suktam. They said prayer to her to gain her blessing. Everybody put your hands together as we say just 2 verses of her mantras. Hiranyavarnyam hiranyam suvarna rajatasya rajam chandra hiranyamai lakshmim jatavedo mahavyami samarpyamyam tamma ava jatavedo lakshmi mapagnim Yashyam hiranyam vindayam gamaswam purusham yaham. Mother, you who are the essence of things that are beautiful. This is why people decorate. When a person decorates their altar or makes the effort to make mala, to dress their murti, Mother, your energy is attracted to that place. In our culture, people make Diwali time is coming, effort to paint, to dust, to change curtains. The person who puts the effort to welcome you as the guest to the home, you will be extra giving. By your touch, I will see financial change. I will see the manifestation in business, in finance, in my home, in the health, just by preparing for your arrival. Ashwa Puravam Ratamadhyam Hastinadha Prabodhinim Shriyam Devi Upahavya Shrimadhya Vejusyantam. I invoke you, O Goddess Shri. You are the Devi of prosperity, and may you be pleased with me. In the things that I prepare for your worship, pay attention to your Lakshmi offering. Lakshmi offering is very sweet and very palatable, very calm. But Durga's offering sometimes could be of a different nature because of the spice content. Ma, you are always smiling. May you allow this world to smile with me. If a person is having different battles, different fights in life, whether internally for the person who has a mental problem or a mental instability problem, the person is having different fights with personality or thoughts or indecisiveness, the person worships Lakshmi to bring the light of clarity within them. In many places where mentally infirmed individuals reside, Lakshmi's Pitya, that calming but capable form, is invoked there in India for this reason. May you remove Alakshmi, the bad thoughts, the bad habits that cause bad decisions. Prem Swalo Lakshmi Mata Ki Jai. If a person tonight, before we go forward, if a person believes that God could infuse within them the support or the thoughts when somebody says Sat Chit Anand, the thought of doing good. Consider what I'm saying. The chit, I'm going to put on my red kurta tonight, and inside the back of my head somewhere, something says, Baba, don't wear that. That one gonna make you look fat. Are they on the road on a, like a T-junction kind of thing? If I take left, put it, no traffic. Something inside my head, take right. It's 9 o'clock. In everybody's life, if you pay attention and you start to hone in, someone is always talking. What to cook this morning? It have okra. Our husband ain't gonna like that okra, you know, we cooked that the other day. Better cook a little curry aloo. He would be very happy with that. And this conversation, we would say in our language, well, I talk to myself and I decide upon this kurta. But if it were yourself, to be honest, would you really argue with yourself every time? This is a whole topic of how Lakshmi lives inside the person, guiding you. I want to do this, come back. I want to do this, come back. When the person does not have that good relationship, the person, as Pandit was telling me this morning, goes in hunt of looking for happiness. His words. One example is drug addiction. This morning he was telling me the person makes a decision to drink a beer. You look for happiness there. Some people look for happiness in today's world. Children are using drugs like our time. They're using tablets to find something. And they abuse it, looking for this happiness. When Lakshmi takes form and they did this Sri Suktam, they were begging her to come back, not only in physical money and the nice things that we all pray and want, but also inside of each and every person in the form of this equilibrium. One way of showing equilibrium is a certain amount of contentment. Imagine if I did not know my limit and I decided to eat 50 barfi. Baba may have a stomach problem. I may overeat, or I might fight for something I shouldn't fight for, like how an animal would fight for things. But if Lakshmi teaches the person of, for example, to say, I had enough, I have enough, or they have that control, then in a heightened sense, the person is in control of their diet, their spending, purchasing, what they go behind, how they pray. Imagine a person is praying for money, and that evolution in the prayer cannot happen. It happened, in an example, when you hear about the history of Pitru Paksh, where Krsna is only fixating on getting the position of a king. And he lives his life working towards that pedestal. When he gets the pedestal and he's given this, every time somebody comes, he wants to show his affluence. So he only gives charity with gold. Took off whatever he had on and he would give. People begging you for food and he would give them gold to go and buy or have whatever. And Pitru Paksh started when he goes to Swarglok and everybody is sitting, imagine a meal row now, everybody going to eat. The guy next to him gets the best food. This guy gets the best food. But now they serve him a platter of gold rings, bracelet, chain, you name it. Please enjoy. And Krsna says, I think you made a mistake. How could I eat this? He says, well, based on our record, this is what it have on the menu for you. So he went to Lord Vishnu and he says, Prabhu, I did a lot of charity in my time. How I can't eat gold? He says, well, how you give is so you get. In your life, you only gave gold, so you have gold to receive. He says, Prabhu, I did not know this. Please give me a chance. Give me a little time where my relatives, my loved ones, or myself could go and let them do some charity, and then I will come back to get the food, edible food that I could enjoy. For this reason, Pitru rested, not traveling, rested souls that belong to your lineage, come now in this Paksh fortnight to get the good things that you give in charity based on this happening. When the person gives anna or food dan, the benefit to the Pitras, the benefit to you and I is yielded by the blessings of Lakshmi Mata in that food. Where Lakshmi Mata, in this first verse, Mother, you are the life that is found in all green. So, have you ever done prayer and when the puja finish, Baba take out maybe a little 2 grain of red bean and he hand it back in your urni? The barakat that is coming, what it represents, may Lakshmi Mata stay in the kitchen cupboard, in the keep, etc. But why the grain? Because of this. What is your form, Mother? The first form, before that murti existed, was the grains. And this is why, whether under the diya in your puja, the coconut in your puja, in different places, we always use a lot of greens, true greens. So this is not referencing things like dal, etc. But things, what is a true grain? If you put it in the ground, it will grow. Prem se bolo Lakshmi Mata ki jai. She listened to all of their cries and all of their prayers. Mother, without you, the weather is not stable. People are dying. People are hungry. Please come back to our life. You have to be the protector of all creatures. You cannot protect some and then abandon some. Mother, may you save us, please. May you accept, and they started to pray, may you please accept a husband. She says, who will you give me to? And Lord Vishnu stood and he says, there's only one place for you at my side. So she tells Lord Vishnu, how will you marry the younger sister and the older sister, Alakshmi, is not married yet? He says, fear, let us give her udhalak, or we're unclean, the energy of unclean. If let me pretend when you have prayers and you clean your place and you do your puja and you smell the incense and you smell the ghee in the pot, the sensation you feel of the place being light or positive. The opposite of that, the feeling that I can't stay in this house, I don't want to eat in this house, I don't want to take rest. Udalak is the name of that sensation. Accept Alakshmi and the both of you, where your husband is, let the wife come. So when the place is heavy spiritually, when wrong activities occur in a home, when improper rites are being done, last night I said, God, for some people, God is come for what in your heart, not what in your stomach. So imagine a person does not prepare properly for prayers. The person does not fast, etc. And the outcome of that type of prayer is caused by Alakshmi and this husband taking up space, taking up residence in that home. From there, they describe the mother, the help, the health, the healing, the different blessings that they needed. One of the blessings, Prem se bolo Lakshmi Mata ki jai. One of the blessings that Lakshmi Mata gives them is the bael plant. In our dharma, people make offering a bael for many puja, but they don't understand why. The bael became from her prayer a manifestation of her love. And the person who offers the bael pleases Lord Shiva, but you get the adoration. That offering gives you, one, the love in your home. It reunites the husband and wife. Children appreciate parents. Think about everything we just offer. How do I get my children to have patience with me when my hip or something is infirm, something wrong? How to translate that offering into a way that I could pray, dear God, bless our family to stay together. In many homes in today's world, Kali Yuga leads to a parent is mandated to have patience to care with the little child when they're walking slow. Today, tomorrow, me and you go Disney World. And you see the baby toddling by that door and the mother is pelting going down the road. You say she's a bad lady. She's abandoned her child. Trouble could come. But in Kali Yuga, daddy could be struggling by the door and the same children are not bounded in the same way. They're going down the road. Well, man, take your time. And we just heard what happens in that home. It goes from bad to worse, and it keeps coming down when they are ill-treated. Nonetheless, in this age, it is on the rise. Elder mistreating, senior abuse is increasing. No matter how much technology, help, new systems we put in place, it seems as if the love in the family is going down. That is the same lady who fed you. Do you know, if we were to describe why we lift the box for the funeral, Somebody says, okay, I don't have children, Keshava, I have no children, what we gonna do? So in Gerd Puran it says you adopt children, you adopt a son. A son is anybody the morning for the funeral cuts the hair. Secondly, lifts the box. So the question comes now, why is that a factor? The lifting of the box is where the person, let me just use in my analogy, the mother is in the box. From mommy, I got my bone and my muscle. On the day of her funeral, Ma, I take the muscle and the bone that you made, and I'm going to strain, to lift, and to take you from here to where we're going to dispose of the body in an effort to repay you for the milk that you take from your bone marrow and make me. Remember, for every child the lady make, it came, that milk come from somewhere. So the lady's bone is becoming hollow and more hollow, whereas the man's bone does not move, the density remains stagnant. When the person makes the sacrifice and you do not make an effort to repay it, you have to come back in your next janam and pay it. You still owe that person. There is nothing, it is a little saying we say, you can't repay your mother. Karma basically says, you come alone and you go alone. And if the person makes the effort to repay that Lakshmi that you are doing, that gifting, let me use in my hand of flowers, I am gifting, thank you, I don't want to owe you, that is Lakshmi. So you do it in different places. One, daddy and mommy in the box. Another place, Baba said a nice prayer for you at your home. The person, the yajman who sits by the baby, they would prepare the siddha, the gift, the dakshina. Thank you, Baba. But after Pandit talk and explain, when they pass the arti, you put your dollar inside there for a reason. I'm putting this dollar here, Panditji, I never heard that. And I don't want to owe you. Please accept this as a gift of thanks, so that I pay you back for the knowledge you just give me. That is why we pass arti. Another place, do you remember home when the neighbor sent across the basement 2 tomatoes? Mommy used to say, send back a cucumber. Never take anything from anybody for nothing. That is Lakshmi. In our Dharma, not only money, where we just talk about dakshina. Dakshina is a gift of thanks. And when you pay back, imagine a girl now married, a good example. She now married. She come, she had the veil over her face and they just put a bowl in some culture on the table. I'm going to see the girl. In that case, where you're going to see that face, mok dikai, mok meaning face, to see it. The first time you see that girl's face, like the Lakshmi coming into the home. When she's by the door in different parts of India, you will see they cross the threshold kicking rice. Or the Lakshmi feet where they stand in the sindoor, she's coming into this house as Lakshmi. I want to see Lakshmi. So the person pays to see her, dollar. And then you get the blessing of seeing her face. When the daddy goes in the hospital room, baby born, boy or girl, the energy, the blessing when he sees the first eyesight, first shot of this new child, next generation is assured, boy or girl. That vibration, that energy is a form of Lakshmi. Be there and uplift him and his family just by the eyesight of the children and the sacrifice of the mother. If the person should live in these moments, these are just some examples. Oh, Saunak, this feminine form, this form that brings about this amount of blessedness, goodness, and allows the person to live in a state of continuous betterment. Meaning, it is a blessing for the father to see his children. Make the effort, go in good time. Good time, auspicious time. If you go in bad time, it will bring inauspicious things such as loss of wealth, loss of prosperity, loss of life. You go in and bring the girl into the home, bring her in good time. If she comes into the door, into the home in appropriate time, based on the day, she will bring prosperity, goodness, greatness, peacefulness, etc. But if it is done wrong, it could bring trouble or the opposite, Alakshmi. I'm going to fix the roof. Baba, check the date. If Panchak is there, don't interfere. It could cause death, mayhem. Alakshmi. If you check it and you put it in good time, the same thing you are doing, you will feel you get through it. It's so easy that it is now, that is all. It feels as if it flow because the goddess Lakshmi is standing there supporting your work. This thinking of checking good or bad time is predicated on these two sisters. This is why Pandit will say, check the time of the wedding, the lagan, etc. Check the time for the puja. Make sure the funeral is not being done in Panchak. You want good. You don't want the bad one to come. In all prayers, we are purifying first. For just to remind you, you just wash your hand at a simple example before you call the devta. I could call, but if I am not ready, if the time is not good, the outcome of that prayer, or in that case, the project, putting up the house, whatever you're doing, it may not yield the benefit that you're looking for. If we understand how Lakshmi works, it explains why you and I are doing Hanuman Puja. You put up red flag, I put up a red flag. We share root, but you are seeing the difference and I still waiting for blessings. The variation, the variable is the Lakshmi content going in with maybe with the way I think, maybe how I fast, maybe how I make my parsad, the rules to make it. For example, some people don't talk over the pot when they're cooking. Some people love to talk. That extra ingredient. When you follow the tenets of your prayer and you do it in good time, in a good way, with a good personality, yes, I agree, based on our reading, Lakshmi comes. But if you do it different, then her sister will come. And we know what that will bring. I do the prayers, and after the prayers done, Pandit, me and my husband start to quarrel, and the quarreling has stopped yet. But I do prayers, Pandit, and this is where the Hindu is evolving. From doing any kind of prayers, Gita will tell you, I do it really just to show them people over there, I did prayers. When the person gets out of that thinking and they start to go more sattvic now, and they start to put their effort into it, the same little puja starts to yield more and more benefit. And then you'll come across, example, a rule that says when the Hindu is praying, prayer is incomplete if you do not strive to feed. Wherever food is not shared, that prayer is not complete. It doesn't say feed 100 people. Some people want to, invite big. Problem is, me help. I can't afford it. So the same thing I'm doing. Oh God, look, Pandit, I have Pongadal. Pandit, Pabaksam. If you do it small, nothing is wrong. Treat the one person you're feeding with regard, with respect, in a loving way. Lakshmi lives in the grain. So if I give the grain, the same, how it is called, the wheat that we just crush to make flour, still a grain, give it in down, but give it with grace. I could tell you, Pandit, please come and eat a piece of roti, or I could say, here boy, same gift. Same gift. In this temple business, it is hard trouble, Somebody invite my auntie, you come prayers. I say, Pandit, I have to go to work. All right, but come now, you come after, you eat something. When I come, Pandit up and tell me, you only come for the roti? Think was in the same gift, but your mode, your delivery makes such a difference. If the person practice these little ebbs, the little prayer you're doing, or the gifting of the roti, in my example, could yield more blessing. The person walks away with reward rather than punishment. Prem se bolo Adi Shakti Mata ki Jai. Put your hands together as we end chapter 10 in Padma Puram. Saunak Rishi is telling Suji Guruji, whenever a person could treat and learn with how to treat with Lakshmi, the goodness and good deeds, just as she came back to the Devtas when they churned that water, by listening to this history, this guidance, I feel as if Lakshmi will come back to me. Guruji says, and this is for you and I now, Blessed is the person that listens to this holy history. Blessed is the person that causes another person to hear it. The person who practices something called smaranam. Smaranam is a type of bhakti, one way of showing devotion, where maybe tomorrow you practice remembering what was discussed. The katha of Lakshmi is very vast, and if a person should within their life strive to become aware of her, see the opportunity to please her, that person will do their personal churning and will bring back that Lakshmi to them in moments where she seems to be absent. Mercy, kripa is possible, Shishya, for the person that looks for that kripa or that mercy, that goddess stands waiting for them. Blessed is the person that will share food when Lakshmi's prayer is being done. Blessed is the person that takes the effort to cook, the hands that slave to make the recipes manifest so that other people could get sustenance, the other people that serve the food. Bless those hands that Lakshmi may always be with them based on their physical work or their listening or their mental work of remembering discourses like this and the holy history of Lakshmi Mata. Prem se bolo Lakshmi Mata ki jai.
Om Jai Lakshmi Mata, Maya Jai Lakshmi Mata, Tumko nis din sevat, Maya Ji ko nis din sevat, Har Vishnu Vidhata. Om Jai Lakshmi Mata, Om Jai Lakshmi Mata, Maya Jai Lakshmi Mata.
mantrahinam kriyahinam bhaktahinam janardanam yat pujitam maya devam paripurnam tadhastu me. Dear Mother, as we conclude tonight our second session of Devi Lakshmi's Gyan Yagna, may you allow the benefit of Mother to enter into my home and my life. May you, by the virtue of memory, stay with me, guiding my next step. Allow me to be cognizant, to be mindful of yourself and your energy and the necessity of you being together with me. May you allow our young ones to be better guided and better prepared for life in the form of patience, diligence, and fortitude. May you bless our homes with barakat. Mother, thank you again and again for allowing us the opportunity to worship you in this way. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Shanti. Everybody. Shanti, Shanti, Hari Om. Prem Smolo Mahapati Mahadeva ki Jai. Paunaputra Numana ki Jai. Shri Lakshmi Mata ki Jai. Vindravan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Satya Sanathan Dharma ki Jai. Jai Jai Sitaram. Sitaram everybody. Sitaram everybody.